The name, Hanging Gardens of Babylon, likely originated from the way the gardens were constructed and perceived in ancient texts and later interpretations. Here are several reasons why they are called the Hanging Gardens. 1. Terraced construction. The gardens were described as being built in a series of terraces or platforms that appeared to hang or overhang one another. This tiered structure gave the impression of gardens hanging from the walls or structures supporting them. 2. Aesthetic impression. The use of the word hanging in ancient texts might also reflect the visual effect of plants and trees cascading down the terraces, creating a lush and verdant landscape that contrasted with the arid surroundings of Babylon. 3. Translation and interpretation. The name, Hanging Gardens, could have been a translation or interpretation from the original Babylonian or Greek descriptions. Ancient Greek historians like Strabo and Diodorus Siculus used the term chromastos kypos, hanging gardens, to describe the gardens, which has been passed down through history. 4. Symbolic and literary meaning. The name might also carry symbolic and poetic connotations, emphasizing the garden's elevated position, their beauty hanging in the air, and their status as a marvel of human achievement and aesthetic sensibility. The historical background of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon is intertwined with the ancient city of Babylon itself, which was located in the region of Mesopotamia, in what is now modern-day Iraq. Here are key points regarding the historical context. 1. Babylonian civilization. Babylon was one of the most prominent cities of ancient Mesopotamia, known for its advanced culture, architecture, and engineering achievements. It was situated on the banks of the Euphrates River and flourished during different periods of Mesopotamian history, particularly during the reign of Hammurabi, 18th century BC, and later under Nebuchadnezzar II, 6th century BC. 2. Nebuchadnezzar II. The Hanging Gardens are traditionally attributed to King Nebuchadnezzar II, who ruled the Neo-Babylonian Empire from 605 to 562 BC. Nebuchadnezzar II is known for his ambitious building projects, including the reconstruction of Babylon and its fortifications, temples, and palaces. 3. Purpose. According to ancient Greek historians such as Strabo and Diodorus Siculus, the Hanging Gardens were built by Nebuchadnezzar II for his wife Amytas. Amytas was said to have been homesick for the mountains and greenery of her native Media in modern-day Iran, prompting Nebuchadnezzar to create the gardens as a lavish display of his wealth and power, as well as a gesture of love for his queen. 4. Engineering feat. The construction of the Hanging Gardens was described as a marvel of ancient engineering. They were said to consist of terraced gardens with plants and trees growing on multiple levels, supported by a series of arches and stone columns. A sophisticated irrigation system supposedly lifted water from the Euphrates River to the top of the terraces, allowing the gardens to flourish in the arid Mesopotamian climate. 5. Legacy and myth. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon have captured the imagination of scholars and the public alike for centuries. They are considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, although their exact location and even their existence as described in ancient texts have been debated by historians and archaeologists. Construction of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, as described by ancient historians, was a remarkable engineering achievement for its time. Here are some key aspects of their construction based on historical accounts. 1. Architectural design. The gardens were designed as a series of tiered terraces, resembling large steps or platforms ascending upwards. Each terrace was supported by arches, columns, and walls made of baked brick and stone. The terraces were reportedly wide enough to support large trees and shrubs. 2. Water supply system. One of the most impressive features of the Hanging Gardens was their irrigation system. Given that Babylon was located in a region with a hot and arid climate, maintaining lush gardens would have been a significant challenge. According to ancient accounts, A complex system of water pumps and hydraulic engineering was employed to lift water from the nearby Euphrates River to the topmost terrace. This water was then distributed through channels and pipes to irrigate the entire garden, creating a cascading effect similar to a waterfall. 3. Building materials. The primary materials used in the construction of the gardens were baked brick and stone. Babylonian architecture typically utilized sun-dried mud bricks for most buildings, but important structures like palaces and temples often used fired bricks for durability. The terraces of the hanging gardens would have required sturdy materials to support the weight of soil, vegetation, and water. 4. Engineering expertise. Building such an ambitious structure required advanced knowledge of architecture and engineering. Babylonian engineers were known for their expertise in hydraulic systems, as evidenced by the extensive irrigation networks throughout Mesopotamia. The construction of the hanging gardens likely involved skilled craftsmen, laborers, and engineers who meticulously planned and executed each aspect of the project. 5. Purpose and symbolism. The hanging gardens were not just a utilitarian project but also a symbol of power, wealth, and aesthetic appreciation. They were intended to showcase the opulence and grandeur of Babylonian civilization under Nebuchadnezzar II, while also serving as a haven of beauty and tranquility within the bustling city. 1. Architectural and engineering marvel. If the descriptions from ancient sources are accurate, the hanging gardens represent a remarkable achievement in ancient engineering and architecture. The use of terraced gardens and an advanced irrigation system would have required considerable skill and knowledge. 2. Cultural symbolism. The gardens are symbolic of the grandeur and sophistication of the Babylonian civilization during its zenith under Nebuchadnezzar II. They reflect the empire's wealth, power, and the desire to create beauty even in a harsh environment. 3. Historical significance. As one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the hanging gardens have captured the imagination of people throughout history.